Yes, we have talked about the similarities of this major black swan event that we had in the year 2020 exactly here, this fast move of all this fear and uncertainty and doubt in the markets, and this is what we saw exactly yesterday, this major crash towards the downside due to a risk of a recession. Even civil unrest and a lot of fear in the markets, and that's why we saw this major dump, also because the Japanese yen saw a major dump towards the downside. But most importantly guys, I told you exactly within these levels, yes, don't exit, the bottom is in. It was very unfortunate that it was exactly within these levels before we saw this major dump towards the downside, and I told you exactly here that you shouldn't sell. But guys, if you sold exactly here, you are a bad investor, because all of these coins have strong fundamental value, and guys, this is just a major manipulation what we are seeing in the markets. And remember what I told you about the mindset, each and every time we're seeing these major dumps towards the downside, this usually is the best time to accumulate. And yes, if you bought exactly within these levels, near to the bottom or exactly within this dump, yes, you are an extreme good investor. But yes, if you would have just held during this major dump towards the downside without selling or even buying, yes, you're also an extreme good investor, because yes, this is a major manipulation in the market, and each and every time we're seeing this major blood in the street, this usually is the best time to invest. And yes, we saw that the price movement of Bitcoin came all the way back into these levels, but we're going to look at the price movement and also what we could expect in the immediate short term. Are we going to see that Bitcoin is going to come all the way back into these levels? We're going to look at these indicators. And yes, I know a lot of people can't afford to dollar cost average at each and every dump and to reinvest exactly within these levels. But what you could do, you could trade all of this with a leverage. And yes guys, we're in my signal group, we're making some awesome profits. Yes, we opened this trade on Solana, we're already up 150% and our stop loss is in profit. So yes, we can't lose this trade anymore. And we also opened a trade on Bitcoin exactly at the bottom, and yes, we're already up 116%, and once again our stop loss is way in profit. Yes, I'm opening all of these trades that I'm posting in the signal group with a low margin, just to also show you that with a small amount of capital, yes, with a $30 margin, you can already get $35 in profit, because even with a small amount on a 10x leverage, you can receive a major profit, and you can dollar cost average all of these profits back into crypto. So guys, if you want to trade all of these moves, go down in the video description below and sign up to BloFin or even to Bybit, where you receive a major deposit bonus. And yes, if you want to join my signal group where I'm posting all of my trades and we made some major profits today, yes guys, go down in the video description below and sign up to my free Telegram group, where you'll find all the information on how to join my group. And yes, we opened this trade a few minutes ago on Jasmy. We entered exactly within these levels. At the moment, we're seeing the market is cooling off a little bit. And yes, let's go over to the Jasmy trade, because yes, this is a free trade. If you're watching the video now, yes, this is our entry point, because ultimately we saw this major pump and a sideways consolidation, and if we're going to break this range, we could expect this major pump towards the upside for Jasmy, but for the overall crypto market. And yes, if we're going to see this trade in profit, we're going to pull our stop loss all the way up to a break-even point. But guys, first of all, we're going to go over to Bitcoin, because ultimately on the daily chart we can see that exactly that happened, what I said in the previous video. Yes, if we're going to break this level, I said it once again here and also within these levels, that if we're going to see this major break of this major sideways consolidation, where I talked a lot about major manipulation. But guys, we're going to look at the most important levels that Bitcoin needs to hold or break towards the upside, so that we can say yes, this has been the bottom, and that we could expect that Bitcoin is going to come all the way back into this important range of all these moving averages. But before we're going to deep dive into the charts, let's go over to the most important factors. So yes, we've talked about this black swan event of the risk of a recession and also the fear in the markets, and this was exactly like the black swan event in the year 2020, where we saw this major dump but also this fast recovery all the way back up. And yes, this is exactly the reason why I told you not to sell exactly here, where I made this video, don't exit, the bottom is in. Yes guys, this was a major unexpected black swan event. The best thing that you could have done is just hold on to your crypto or accumulate even more, because ultimately guys, yes, we saw that the volatility index on the S&P 500 spiked all the way up to the levels that we had in March 2020. We can see it exactly here, and yes, exactly within these levels. The last time we saw this major spike, this was the start of this major parabolic run, because this orange line in this graph is the price movement of Bitcoin, and exactly from these levels where we saw these highs and also this quick recovery all the way back up, this was exactly the moment where this major parabolic run started. And yes guys, this is also going to be the last shakeout before this major parabolic run and stage 2 of the bull market. Yes, maybe you're down on some altcoins if we go on the weekly chart, but guys, change your mindset. This is the discount that you're getting on all of these altcoins, because on the daily bubbles we can see that these coins are already seeing a major pump towards the upside. So if you would have dollar cost average into these coins yesterday, you would have had these major profits. But ultimately guys, remember, if you don't have the money to dollar cost average into these coins, make sure to join my Signal group where I post all of my trades and you can make these awesome profits, because even with a small amount you can achieve these major profits, and then you can take your profits out and reinvest them into crypto projects. But yes, let's go over to the next news. And on the Bitcoin CME futures, which trades on the stock market, we are seeing these major gaps, because obviously during this dump, this was the weekend, and as soon as the markets open, we saw this major dump towards the downside. And usually these gaps get filled if we see that the price movement has these major gaps either towards the downside or even towards the upside. And we saw that we had this major gap all the way in these levels, and we saw this major pump towards the upside. And yes, Bitcoin came all the way back down and actually filled this gap, but we can see that exactly in the same level we also have a gap towards the upside. So yes, these gaps tend to be filled, so we could expect that the price movement comes all the way up into these levels, because ultimately on the S&P 500 we can see the exact same scenario. We had this major gap towards the downside, and the stock market and the S&P 500 found a perfect double bottom, and we can see that the price movement formed higher highs and also higher lows exactly here. And yes, it looks like that the S&P 500 is going to fill this gap exactly here, because only a little bit is left until this gap gets closed. And we can see the 100 moving average on the 15-minute chart is exactly this previous support, which will now turn into resistance. And also for the overall crypto market, because we can see that all of these coins are already recovering. These are the daily bubbles. But let's go over on Bitcoin on the higher time frames on the weekly chart of Bitcoin, because ultimately this is a major bullish candle. Yes guys, we can see a lot of buying pressure on the weekly chart for Bitcoin, and yes, we can see that even this candle is above this previous candle low exactly here, and this was the previous bottom where we saw this major push towards the upside all the way to the Trump speech at the conference and this major black swan event all the way back down. And yes, we can see that the candle came all the way to the range low of $48,980, and we can see that exact within these levels we have the 50 moving average, and it's extremely bullish that the price movement on the weekly chart perfectly bounced off from this level, and that we're seeing this major bullish candle. If this candle is going to turn green, this reminds me a little bit of this major candle. A lot of fear in the markets, a lot of people think that the price movement is going to go even lower, a lot of buyers stepping in, and once again guys, we can see all of these major candles. Here we had this major wick towards the downside, and all of a sudden all these buyers stepped in, and we saw this major pump after the markets turned bearish and a lot of people sold their coins. And all of these examples, yes, the market was extremely bearish, your portfolio was down. Would this have been the best opportunity to sell or buy? Definitely to buy guys, and not to sell. And yes, I know it's painful to see your portfolio moving sideways or even down if you invested exactly here, but you don't want to be selling exactly here and rebuying in these levels. Guys, just hold on to your crypto or dollar cost average during these fearful moments, because yes, on the daily chart we can see that Bitcoin perfectly bounced off from this level, and yes, we are all the way back here at exactly this point where I called this bottom and said that this is going to be maximum pain. Yes, this was maximum pain, and I once again called the bottom exactly here, and then we had this major black swan event. But remember, trading is all about possibilities and also scenarios, and yes, I wasn't bearish all the way up here, and I'm also not going to turn bearish here. This looks extremely bullish, and I can tell you that this is the beginning of this next major parabolic run. Maybe Bitcoin is going to come all the way back down to form a double bottom on the daily chart, but I doubt it. I think we're going to see this pump all the way back up. But what are going to be the most important levels that Bitcoin needs to break towards the upside? First of all, we're going to take the Fibonacci retracement level from the swing high all the way to the swing low, and then we can see that Bitcoin perfectly had this candle close on the daily chart exactly at the 23.6 at the levels of 54,000, and at the moment we can see that Bitcoin is struggling at the 38.2. So yes, we could maybe expect that Bitcoin is going to form a higher low exactly here, or we're just going to blast through this level, and the next level we could reach is an extremely important level, the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level, this green line exactly in confluence with the 200 moving average and also the 50 moving average, all the way at the levels of 60,000 US dollars. So this is going to be a key level. First of all, a round number, a major previous support and also resistance, and even the 61.8 being the golden pocket. So this is going to be the next major level of Bitcoin that we need to break towards the upside to clearly say that yes, we have formed the bottom exactly here, and that we're going to see this trend continue towards the upside. And as long as we're going to stay in this level, yes, we could see this break of the 38.2 and come to retest on top of the 38.2, or we could see this retracement towards the downside, form a higher low for Bitcoin, or we could even come all the way back down to the 23.6 to scare out the last bit of people so that everybody is going to say, oh, maybe the market is still going to go deeper. Guys, ultimately, I do believe that this is going to be close to the bottom. And yes, guys, the best thing that you need to do is dollar cost average into firm projects like even Solana. Yes, Solana saw this major pump exactly all the way to the 200 moving average on the daily chart, which is extremely important, guys, because if we're going to break the 200 moving average for Solana or even for Bitcoin on the daily chart, exactly lining up with the 61.8, let's go over to Solana and take the fibs all the way from the top all the way to the bottom. Now we can perfectly see that the 61.8 is here at the 13 moving average, which gives us an indication, are we still in a bearish trend or even in a bullish trend? So ultimately, guys, these are the very important levels that Solana and also Bitcoin needs to break, the 61.8, so that we can be extremely sure that this is going to be a bottom and that we could expect this continuation. But in all of this time, guys, all of these levels are going to be your accumulation levels, either through dollar cost averaging with capital that you can spare within the next year, because your mindset must be absolutely clear. Guys, you can't invest here with money you need all the way down here. This won't work, guys, because your time horizon must be absolutely clear. Because ultimately, guys, we need to zoom out on Bitcoin, because if you would have been fearful exactly in these moments where we saw these major dumps, what happened after these major dumps exact within these levels, and we can see that the price movement of Bitcoin during the bull market peak and this prolonged double top that we had in the previous bull market perfectly bounced off from the 50 moving average exactly here during this bearish move. And yes, guys, the price movement can either consolidate over time, meaning that the price goes sideways for a very long time until the moving averages come higher, or we're going to see a consolidation over the price, meaning that we're going to see a major pump and even a major dump all the way back down to the moving averages. So yes, we saw this major sideways consolidation and also this quick recovery and this major black swan event where a lot of big investors, all the good investors, buy because they know exactly if there's fear in the street, this is the best opportunity to dollar cost average into crypto. And guys, if you always want to stay up to date or even copy all of my trades, go down in the video description below where you'll find all the links to my free Telegram group where you'll find all the information. So yes, before we're going to end this video, once again, guys, I do expect that Bitcoin is going to see this consolidation either above the 38.2 exactly here, with the next major price target being the 60,000 US dollars, which is also the lowest monthly candle close. But if we're going to get this rejection exactly here at the 38.2, I do expect that Bitcoin is going to come all the way back down, either to form a higher low exactly within these levels, or we could even see this double bottom all the way back down to the 23.6. So yes guys, these are the two scenarios that we could expect for Bitcoin, all the way up with the next price target at the 61.8. And yes guys, make sure to subscribe to my channel, smash up the like button, but most importantly guys, be for crypto, and we see each other in the next video.